Hi, and welcome to Tuesday's Pick a Card reading. So for this reading, it's going to be one of my questions, and something that keeps coming up that I feel like I really need to do for you guys is a reading about what is unknown about this relationship, okay? This can be any kind of relationship, but just know that I'm going to be putting a romantic spin on it because I generally do love and romance questions, okay guys? So what is unknown? This could be anything from something that maybe they're holding back from you, that they're not telling you, that you might need to know about. It could be anything from the unconscious or semi-conscious realm, okay, both collective and personal, that needs to be kind of brought up to the surface and examined, okay? It can, talk about some blocks that you might not be aware of. Basically, this reading is going to cover all of the above and hopefully more when it comes to what is unknown about this relationship. I'm going to tell you guys each one of these piles has lots of cards under it, so it's going to be a long reading. Just want to go ahead and tell you which cards are going to be in this reading. We've got the Dream Oracle cards, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. We have the Good Tarot, the Soul's Journey Lesson cards, and the Hero's Journey Dream cards, okay? That's a new deck, which has just come out, I think, last week. So that'll be really fun to look at. And actually, it's the top card in this, so this is the backing. So that said, please pay attention to which pile is named what, because I'm going to change up the way that I name the piles this time just a little bit. Okay, so pile number 1 is the orange Carnelian. Pile number 2 is the blue Lapis Lazuli. Pile number 3 is the yellow Citrine. Pile number 4 is the green moss Agate. Pile number 5 is the clear quartz crystal, and pile number 6 is the red Jasper. Okay, while you guys are picking which card pile that you would like, I just want to go ahead and say anything that you need to know about me is in the description. If you'd like a private reading with me, that's where to go. If you need to reach out to me for whatever reason, go ahead and send me an email. My email address is written down there. And just basically anything else that you'll need to know about me is there, alright guys? That said, pause this if you have not picked yet. Otherwise, we are going to start with pile number 1 right now. Okay. So let me go ahead and move these out of the way a little bit so we can have a full area to look at all of these cards since there are so many. Okay. Those of you who picked the orange Carnelian, we have the 6 of air. This would be the equivalent of the 6 of swords, okay guys? We have the 9 of wands. This would be the equivalent of the 9 of cups, okay? We have the lovers, okay? It's love in this one, but it's the equivalent of the lovers. We have the lady of lightning, acceptance, family, and the sun. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the tarot. I'm going to go ahead and look at them so that I can get a really good read on this. Okay. What is hidden about this relationship, okay, is that even though there might be some distance between the two of you, that could be physical distance or just general distance between the two of you right now, your person does love you, okay? There is a lot of love there, and the potential to be happy is definitely there. I mean, you've got a really, really happy card here, okay? So this is also kind of counseling you to kind of be the light in the relationship, you know? I feel like you are anyway, but I feel like this is coming up kind of like, not only is it happiness in general, and that's what it's talking about, but it's also talking about how there's something about you that really lights up their life, okay? And then we have the 9 of water, okay? And this is really about kind of, you know, being at that very end stage right before something happens in a relationship where things are going to just kind of come together. All right, guys? So, those of you who are in a love relationship, this is really, really positive. Remember, though, that we do have this distance there, okay? So if there's distance between the two of you, understand that that's being acknowledged. But even though that's there, you've got, I mean, really, you've got the lovers. So, I mean, it's like, this is a really good, you know, this is a really good spread here. Okay. And then again, we have almost, you're almost going to have that wish to, you know, of what you want in this relationship. Something that might be holding you back is acceptance. Okay. And this is not only like self-acceptance. I feel like there's some esteem issues on both ends. Okay. That's not unusual in humans in general, okay? But I feel like there's something about, there might be an event that's really hard to accept. Maybe there was something that happened between the two of you that's really hard for one or both of you to accept and just kind of move past. Or maybe it's just general self-esteem. Like you've got to feel a lot stronger about yourself and all of that kind of good stuff, right? So one thing that might be a block that's kind of hidden right now from you because maybe you're not aware of it is either your person needs to know that they can make you happy and that they're, you know, a good force in your world and that they're capable and that you just think that they're wonderful, okay? Or you need to realize that you are a wonderful person, you're a positive force in this person's life, and that, you know, that you are just, you know, you are totally worthy of this, okay? If this is a situation, you know, or an event that happened, you've got to realize that in order for this relationship to come together, it's got to be, we've got to move past that, okay? Because that happened before, and what we're working on is the now and the future, okay? That's all we can really work on in any situation. So I'm not telling you to forget it. I'm not telling you that it's not important that that happened or whatever. What I'm telling you is that the two of you aren't going to be able to move on unless that whatever event happened can be sorted, okay? So we also have surprises, sometimes shock, and total paradigm shift as another element of what's hidden, which is really interesting. I kind of feel like even though you guys have a really strong connection in this relationship, I feel like you still have the ability to totally wow the other person. And I feel like this is a kind of a situation where sometimes you'll just, I mean, sometimes your person can really, really surprise you in both positive ways and negative. It's not necessarily just positive, you know. But one thing that you'll notice is that once you start feeling comfortable with this relationship, all of a sudden it's going to just shift upwards. And all of a sudden you're going to get to know them on a completely different dimension. You know, it'll feel very mystical. If it hasn't happened at least once, it'll feel very mystical when it does. And it's just because the two of you are progressing through this kind of, oh, it's like a soul lesson that you guys are progressing through, which is really good for both of you. So one thing that's hidden from you guys in this relationship is just how much of an impact this is having on you on a soul level, and just that it's going to keep shifting up and up and up, okay? At least that's the direction it wants to go, right? And then we have family. Explore your sacred root system. Remember, this is a dream card, okay? So it's not going to necessarily be taken literally. I really feel like when we talk about family, you know, there's a message on the card, which is to explore your root system. Really look at your childhood and your person's childhood or things from the past that have an impact on the way that you define and believe about love, okay? Because that is going to play a huge role in the background there with how you're approaching one another in the situation. Make sure that your past traumas are being talked about and being healed. Otherwise, that kind of trauma and, you know, the kind of stuff that you might believe that doesn't serve you anymore can come up and kind of get in your way, okay? This would be the kind of thing that might lead to feeling like you're not good enough, for example. For example, if you maybe you were the kind of person that just didn't fit in school with the way that the curriculum was taught. And maybe you were told over and over again that you weren't as good as the other kids, or that you weren't learning as quickly or something like that. It's like, you know, maybe you feel like you're not smart enough or you're not good enough. You know, that might be one story, okay? I'm not saying that that's for all of you. I'm just giving an example. You know, some of the things that we're told when we're young just kind of get... It's almost like it's programming us, you know? And we have to go back and look at all the beliefs that we hold, and we have to look at them and say, does this serve me or not? And if it doesn't, then we've got to challenge those beliefs, you know? Because, you know, when it comes down to it, not everybody's going to fit into, like, the curriculum for wherever you grew up in, right? Some people are going to thrive in that, and some people are going to languish in that, right? And then the second message is just thinking about family members. This is about something that, you know, you guys need to incorporate each other into your inner circle, okay? So if there are things that you're holding back, you know, feelings that you have and things like that, that you wouldn't tell somebody who's real close to you, because this doesn't have to be literal family. It can be like your tribe, your inner circle, that kind of thing. You've got to be aware that this relationship, in order for it to move forward, it's got to feel comfortable for both of you. And the more comfortable you are with this person, the more comfortable they're going to feel. Okay? So, telling them, you know, being a little bit more relaxed that's easier said than done. But when I can tell you, well, you can be more relaxed by, acting around this person the way that you would with your closest friends, or maybe with your closest family. I'm very close to my brother, for example. You know, if I can be as open with my partner as I am with my brother, then I know that I have a really good relationship there, okay? So just whoever is in your inner circle, kind of think about how you naturally act around them, and know that that's who you really are, you know, when you're intimate with a person. And I don't mean sexual intimacy, I just mean when you let somebody into your heart, that's the way you are. So you've got to show that authentic self to your person, okay? So you've got a lot of really good advice here. The main thing that I think to keep in mind is like a takeaway here is just that there is definitely love present. And we do have the sun, okay? So this is a very positive, a very loving relationship, okay? So keep this stuff in mind as far as, you know, advice on what to do. But also know that, you know, it looks like you're in a really good place. All right, guys? Okay, hi number 2s. Those of you who picked the blue Lapis Lazuli, let's look at your cards. Okay, so in the tarot we have the 7 of Air. This would be the same as the 7 of Swords. We have the King of Water, or the King of Cups. And we have the 9 of Air, which would be the 9 of Swords. Let me go ahead and put these together. Okay, we've got the River Queen. I'll go into that a little bit more. Judgment, Baby. And we've got the Castle of Dreams. Okay, this is some really interesting stuff here. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the tarot, and I'm going to pick these up so I can look at them a little bit more closely. All right, so we've got the 7 of Air, or the 7 of Swords, okay? So this is letting me know that you guys might need to take, you know, not necessarily a break, but just kind of pause and look at all of the elements of the situation when it comes to the way that you guys communicate, and when it comes to the way that you're thinking about the situation, okay? While I think that everything's in a pretty positive place here, When we get a 7, we're talking about just kind of resting and reconsidering everything. And I'm not saying that that's to reconsider the relationship. It's just to reconsider things, find out, are your needs being met? Is the other person's needs being met? Are you communicating well? What can you do to improve the communication? And is there a common sharing of ideas? Okay, because without this, then nothing else can really be built on that, right? We do also have the 9 of air, which lets me know that some of you, especially when it gets, especially when you guys aren't together or when you're alone, and sometimes maybe at night, some of you guys are overthinking this and kind of spooking yourself, and you're getting kind of carried away with that. The nine of Swords talks a lot about. It talks a lot about creating a lot of pain. Okay. Excuse me. But the pain that I'm getting is, it's more like coming from the self, okay? In that it's like overthinking to the point where you're kind of attaching to more of the negative. Now, I am getting for a few of you, and I really, please take this seriously, you guys, for those of you who this is applying to, a few of you are in a situation where it's just really not good, and you know it. It's like your person's like saying things to you that are just horrible, or your person is interacting with you in a way that is abusive. If you're in that situation, get out of the situation. That's not worth it, okay? This isn't the kind of relationship I'm reading for. I'm reading for a relationship that's relatively healthy, okay? Where abuse is not a pattern, because really you deserve better than that. And again, I'm just saying that for a few of you who I feel I need to, okay? Ultimately, we have the King of Water, the King of Cups, which is the ultimate reassurance here in this relationship, because something that's being hidden from you in this relationship is the fact that this person cares about you a lot. This person is probably in love with you. I'm sorry, I'm going to take a drink real quick. This person is probably in love with you, but this person has really mastered their feelings. So while for some of you, this person might be very emotional and very demonstrative of that, some of you guys are going to be dealing with somebody who's a little bit closed off and then can kind of really surprise you by telling you how much that they feel, okay? I just want to kind of go back to these two. I think that one thing that might be hidden from you, that goes with the 9 of air that I'm getting now, is that it might be hidden from you. The reality of the situation is more positive than what you think. So that's a message for you guys as well. Okay, so we have the River Queen, flow, letting go, and natural movement. Okay, that makes sense. One thing that I think that you guys, both of you, aren't as aware of is that you don't have to force the relationship to happen. It's going to happen on its own. And that I'm not telling you to not be active in bringing this relationship about in your life, okay? You're gonna still have to return calls. You're still gonna have to interact with this person and care for this person and show that you love them and you care about them. That stuff's gonna still have to happen. But you'll notice that the less you attach to the outcome, the easier it is for you to get what you want in the situation, okay? So don't feel so frantic about it. And I know that 9 of air energy, where you've got that kind of pain that's coming from believing that things are worse than they actually are in reality, can really make this difficult, of just letting go and not letting things, really affect you that much, right? But that's basically what you've got to do, is understand that things really are better than what you're thinking right now. This is going to come about, all right? So a block we have is judgment, okay? Understand, obviously, and this kind of goes back to expectations too. Your person has their own way of thinking, and you have your own way of thinking. And what's great about your relationship is those two things can come together, and it's like you know, it's really beautiful because the two of you are able to kind of, there's the stuff that where you meet in the middle, and then there's the stuff that you both bring to enrich each other's lives, right? However, when it comes to expectations, you can't expect your person to act the way that you think they should. You've got to allow them to be themselves. Now, that's just that's just practical common sense. But at the same time, sometimes we need to be reminded that, wow, this person doesn't think like me, you know? If like one of my friends, I'm just thinking about this friend because I was talking to this friend today. If that friend did like responded to me the way that I would expect myself to respond to me, this friend would like just totally overwhelm me with messages, right? But this person knows me and has a different way of responding, so they might not respond as often, but when they do respond, they take care of everything that I've asked them, you know, all in one go. So it's like that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Just know that each person has a different way of communicating, of, you know, of thinking about the world, of processing the world and that kind of stuff. And just know that you guys have those differences, and that can explain why this person might not be fulfilling your expectations at this point. But also know that those expectations, you know, those are things that you can, you know, try at least to let go of, because they don't really have a place in this. You already have what you want. This person already cares about you. And this relationship's already moving forward. So just know that it will happen in time, okay? I'm sorry for the cut, guys. I was just talking about how your dream card is baby, and that says reconnect with your innocence. Okay, so what this means in this particular situation, as what's hidden from you is who you are at your core, okay? Know how children, when in their first few years, it's like they are really enlightened souls. They see right through any kind of deception. They seem to have this enlightenment that adults don't have. They're taking in the world through all five senses, and they're very intuitive. I really feel like one thing that's hidden from you is that you have access to that part of yourself, okay, in this relationship. And by connecting to that part of yourself, you can really go far, okay? So I think that in this relationship, another thing that's hidden from you is that you are a very pure being, and that you can connect with that light inside of you, okay? And then we have, this card is referring to dreams, okay? And what exactly it's talking about is both literal and metaphorical, okay? So the metaphor is make certain that you're paying attention to your dreams, okay? Because sometimes that subconscious, semi-conscious realm becomes available to us in our dreams. You know, the different patterns that we're collecting throughout our day and the different impressions that we're getting, maybe we can't process really fast, but once you go to sleep, your brain is able to pull back up everything that's connected and makes a dream out of it, so that you can see what's hidden otherwise, right? So I do feel like this has to do with, first off, paying attention to your dreams. Then the other part is just that understand that in this relationship, you're building your dreams with this person, okay? So you've got to make sure that you're including both your dreams and their dreams as far as what they see in the future, okay? It doesn't have to be that end goal, the big finish line, or anything like that. Just know what you want to manifest week by week or month by month, and reach to meet those goals, okay? Because I just feel like when we get into situations that feel like in a relationship that feel kind of out of control, it helps to kind of reestablish that control by making smaller goals and that kind of thing. So like looking ahead can help us control a little bit more about the situation. Because really, you know, I'm just talking about this basically in relation to the Nine of Air, where you've got a person who's overthinking and maybe spooking themselves a little bit. But really, it looks like you guys have a lot going for you. The King of Wands is amazing to get, okay? I just feel like you can enjoy a very stable, a very loving relationship with this person, okay? And that it is moving, all right? Hi, number 3s, those of you who picked the Yellowstone. Here is your reading. We have the 7 of Water, okay? We have the 6 of Fire. And I'm just going to go ahead. This is the 7 of Cups. The 6 of Fire is the same as the 6 of Wands. We have Transformation. This is the same as the Death card. Okay. We have the Metal King, Happiness, Lottery, and Discover Your Superpower. All right. So understand some of these are going to be kind of abstract because we're specifically looking at decks that have to do with the unconscious, about what's hidden. Okay, so I just want to kind of put that up front, but I am going to go through all these cards, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, it looks like what's hidden from you is that this relationship is going through a big change, okay? And the change is going to bring more options for you, though. I'm not getting that this is on their end. And I feel like the more options isn't just about this particular relationship. I also think that you're going to be offered something else by someone else that's outside of this relationship. So it might be that the person that you have on your heart right now isn't the person that you're going to end up being with. But that said, I'm also getting that for a lot of you guys, this is more about narrowing the options down into what you really want, so that you can really focus in on that, okay? So this is about making a decision, okay? Between different ways of approaching this and all of that kind of stuff. So basically a decision's going to need to be made when this change happens. And this change, I feel it's like happening already, but maybe you're not aware of it yet, okay? And then we have the 6 of Fire. And I really like this card. I really feel like right now you're being just kind of carried by your intuition, by your dreams, by what you by your passion and by your creativity. And I feel like this is also happening on your on your person's end as well. And I think that maybe the two of you aren't as aware of how much passion can be kindled between the two of you, all right? So this is kind of a reassuring card to let us know that things are being taken care of. That as long as there's a fire inside of you for this person, then the universe is going to be working towards this situation. Okay, so one thing is that I feel like boundaries, there's some kind of boundary in this relationship that's not being honored very well. Now, that can be both positive and negative, okay? It's because maybe, for example, you guys have decided, well, we're going to just be friends, but then that friend boundary isn't being honored, and it's really going to be a situation where you guys are going to end up emotionally involved instead, romantically involved is what I mean, you know? Or it could be that somebody needs some time, you know, and that their time needs to be honored, you know, that kind of thing. If it's you, go ahead and tell them, you know, that you just need for this one thing to be taken care of. You know, don't call me past, I don't know, 10 p.m. or, you know, could you really quit, I don't know, leaving your socks around, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever the boundary is, you know, reassert it and tell them it's important to you. And if they're the ones that are talking about boundaries, and maybe you don't feel like, maybe you're wondering if they're joking or not or whatever, they're serious. They do need that boundary to be acknowledged. At the same time, there's kind of like a duality here, because it's like I see that somebody's wearing, I feel like somebody, and it's gonna be the other person. The person that you're asking about is kind of it's like they've got their walls up. And they think that if they manage the situation by, I guess maybe pretending like this isn't as big of a deal as it actually is, it's like they feel like if they're able to do that, then they'll feel more in control, because this feels really scary for them. This feels like a lot of change and a lot of pressure and all of that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that they're afraid to commit, or that they're afraid to be in a loving relationship, or they're afraid of this relationship. It just means that they weren't expecting it, basically. And now that this has happened, their guard's going up, okay? That doesn't mean, you know, I don't feel like this is necessarily a block. I think it's just the normal way that your person has of responding to this. But in order to get this this kind of like wall to break down, make sure that you're being as kind as possible to them, you know? I mean, I know that might seem like, well, I am, you know, that's, you know, why would you tell me to do that? Of course I'm being nice to them. But I just really feel like it's really important for this person to know that you see them in a positive light, okay? And that you are going to be very, supportive of whatever it is they need and that kind of thing. Okay, it just feels really, it just feels really important for you to communicate that to your person, okay? A block is happiness, okay? I feel like what's going on with this happiness is that instead of trying to make yourself happy by making this relationship work, instead you should focus on the relationship. And from that, you'll realize that's how happiness is gained. Because I think that when you're chasing, let's say you're chasing the relationship, or you're chasing a particular goal within the relationship, something like that, what you're chasing is that you want to be happy. But the reality of the situation is that happiness will come automatically once you are able to just kind of sit quietly with this relationship and just believe in it and be able to make the decisions you need to keep this relationship going and to be kind and nice and loving to your person, okay? So I feel like this happiness thing is a little bit tricky in this particular situation. Try not to focus on the happiness so that the happiness can grow, all right? Okay, so you have lottery, bet on yourself. I really feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit for what you can do in this situation. Again, the thing that I'm getting the most is to just build this person up and really let them know that they're important, that you see what they do, that you appreciate them for who they are. Show them some unconditional love, you know, that's what helps them come out of their shell. Okay, and then again, we've got, you know, discover your power, discover your superpower. I feel like it's the same kind of, message, you know, you've got to be aware that you have power in the situation. So I really feel like for those of you who are in this situation that are holding back a lot and that kind of stuff, what's hidden from you is how important it is for you to take some action in this relationship to help build it up yourself. And instead of trying to figure out how to make yourself happy, try to figure out how to make this relationship work. Try to figure out actually how to make your person happy so that then you'll be happy from this, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you're in this relationship so that you can feel good and not because you care about the person and you want to build them up, then this relationship's just not going to work, because it doesn't work that way. Like, you have to be, like, when you're in a relationship with somebody and, you know, the relationship's going to work, it can't be about you, you know, it can't be something that's based, at least a really positive, healthy relationship can't be about what they can do to make you happy. It's got to be about what you can do to make them happy, and then they in return that to you, okay? And I really feel that that's the key here for you guys. Now, I'm not saying that all of you are you know, engaging in that kind of behavior at all. Please don't think that. I just feel like that's an important thing to kind of mention, just to keep that conscious for you guys, all right? So some of you guys already are aware of that. Some of you just needed to hear that extra thing. All right, guys? Looks good. All right, those of you who picked the green moss agate, here is your reading. We have the Hierophant. We have the Three of Cups, or the Three of Water here. And we have the Ace of Fire, or the Ace of Wands. We have the Arrow, the Arrow Master. We have Health. We have Naked. And we have You Are Invited. Now, please understand that some of these are very, very, very abstract, okay? Especially the last two. This has to do more with dream images and symbols. So I do really want to make sure you understand that. But we're going to start with the with the tarot cards. And I'm just going to go ahead and disclose this anyway, because I think it's important for you guys to know. I have somebody that I was thinking about, and I'm holding that person in my mind of what is hidden about the relationship for me. And so this is the one that I picked for myself. So I also want to let you know that I'm kind of going to be thinking about that, and hopefully, I mean, usually when that happens, I tend to give a lot more details because I'm able to apply it better with myself. Okay, so first off, we have the Hierophant. Okay, we've got somebody who's got all their tools they need to succeed. Okay, and we're talking about the public sphere. Okay, the Hierophant is a teacher, and the Hierophant is somebody who is able to officiate certain ceremonies that happen out in public, like weddings or any kind of initiation, that kind of thing. And it's also a card that teaches us about what's taboo and what isn't, okay? So I think that what's hidden from you is how much you have to learn in the situation, okay? There's that, and also what's hidden from you is kind of all the outer forces that are having their impact on this relationship, because I feel like this relationship for you guys, especially looking at the Three of Water and the Ace of Fire, lets me know that this particular relationship is pretty self-contained. Like it's just you and this person, and not a whole lot of other people are involved in this relationship, okay? So I feel like being aware of how this relationship is affecting the outer forces and how the outer forces are affecting your relationship would help you get a little bit more insight as to your person's behavior. Because some of us, you know, I know that I am, are very introverted, or we don't tend to think of things outside of basically our little circle. And while that can keep us focused on something, you know, on the simple and on our own lives and everything, it also makes us ignorant too, you know. So opening up your mind to include the peripheral would be very, very important in this particular situation. We have the Three of Water, or the Three of Cups. In this particular tarot, it's a little bit different than a traditional, but it's you're going to be happy in this situation. I think that what's hidden from you in that this card is talking about is how happy the situation can make you, okay? And that your person wants to make you happy. I mean, it's not like they want to hurt you or anything. They care about you. They want you to be happy. That's definitely not an issue. And they want to see you happy too. So if you have been the kind of person that's kind of like been down a little bit around them and all of that kind of stuff, just know that it makes them feel disempowered, and like they can't do anything to help when they know that you're not happy and they can't solve that, you know. Or just maybe acknowledge, you know, I know you can't solve this, but I'm sick, or I know you can't solve this, but I'm just going through some times, you know, and I just wanted to share it with you. You know, take the responsibility off of them, you know, to take care of you. And, you know, and if your person's the one doing this to you, just let them know, you know, I don't know how to help, but just know that I want to. You know, I think that's all that really needs to be happening there, because really this person wants you to be happy, and I feel like you want your person to be happy. So I think that might be like a hidden motive there that you might not be as aware of, okay? And then we have the Ace of Fire, okay? You guys have a lot of creative, passionate energy between the two of you that hasn't been explored yet. And it's going to get there, okay? We're going to get to the point where you guys are able to explore that creativity, that you know, some of the more impulsive things, you know, to get a little bit more lighthearted, but also to get a little bit more warm, you know, to get a little bit more carefree, but also getting a little bit more intimate. That's coming. It's just that I think that one thing is that it can't be forced in the now, because in the now, your lesson is more about being happy and showing your person that they can make you happy and that kind of stuff, than it is so much about bringing in something new. And the reason I say that is, again, I feel like this new thing is going to happen, okay? So, next we have the Arrow Master, okay? The number associated with this is 10, in case you're interested in that. We have a 5 associated with the Hierophant. And this is about hitting the mark, intention, and detachment. Okay, so you know, when back in the old times, people who were hunters, their bow and arrow was basically how they survived. Okay, so I feel like in your life there is a genuine need for one another. Both of you feel this. Okay, that this relationships almost helps the two of you feel more alive. Okay, but at the same time, when a hunter is hunting their prey, when they're trying to get what they want, right, what they need, they have to have a lot of concentration. They have to focus. They have to set their intention. They have to know exactly how, it's like they have to know exactly how they are in this situation. If their bow needs to be adjusted a little bit higher or a little bit to the right or the left based on the way that they particularly see the situation. And when they release the arrow, they've got to just trust that it's going to hit its mark, right? So I think that what's hidden from you with the Arrow Master is that you've got to be setting your intentions and then thinking, am I the kind of person that can make these intentions happen, right? So if your intention is, you know what, I'm going to hold back in this situation because I don't want this person to think I'm weird, and I kind of want to feel it out and see how they are first. That's great. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. However, you've got to make sure that you're the kind of person that can do that, right? Are you going to have to adjust, either up or down or to the side or to the other side? And is that going to be comfortable for you, right? And are you still going to be able to hit that mark? That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. We've got to make sure that you're able to get what you need out of the situation by playing to your own strengths. Okay, so keep in mind that you might have some unrealistic goals as far as like what you can achieve in this relationship, but just by adjusting your goals to fit better with who you are as a person, that can do an enormous amount of good to get the relationship on track and in a place where you're feeling more normal and natural. Okay, because you're not putting all this pressure on yourself to make it happen so much, as you're just allowing it to happen the way that it feels natural. Okay, so something that's blocking this relationship, we've got health. Okay, I'm not a doctor, okay, so I can't give you any kind of advice about your health, but I can tell you how this might apply to me personally, okay? Lately I've been having a lot of allergy problems, and then I got a sinus infection, and as a result I needed the person that I'm thinking about to take care of some things that I couldn't take care of, and I remember, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I told the person, gosh, I feel so bad. And they got really upset and nervous. And they're like, well, why do you feel bad? Are you okay? And I was like, well, it's just about the sickness, It's just about how I just feel like, I've got like a sinus infection that's kind of, irritating me and that kind of thing. And I didn't realize that the person I was thinking about, I didn't realize that he was really stressed about how I felt, and that kind of goes back to the 3 of water here, with the joy and happiness. But it's like, take care of yourself, take care of your own health, and make sure that you're doing what you need to in order to get on track there. Maybe, I mean, I'm not saying that this is something that you need to do, okay? But I'm just gonna throw out some examples from my own personal life, okay? For example, I need to lose a little bit of weight. I gained in the past 3 months, so that's something that I'm gonna do to work on my health. When it comes to my sinus infection and getting my allergies back under control, I'm looking at different allergy pills that I can take, because I do take one every day, and looking at maybe using a neti pot for a little while, and another thing is, like, I'm thinking, well, I need to move a little bit more every day compared to what I was doing. So I've set a goal, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm also looking at my diet. So that's the kind of thing that I've been aware of lately for myself. And then this card coming up lets me know, okay, that's something that is affecting this relationship, my health, and probably my person's health too. Okay, because my person's also been under a lot of stress lately, right? So making certain that your mind and body is balanced is going to make a big difference in this situation. Similarly, your person, if you feel like your person's kind of off, make some gentle suggestions, hey, you really got to clean out your mind space, your head space, or whatever it is. Let them know that you're concerned, that you want to make sure that they're being taken care of, that kind of thing. Okay, so then we have naked, dare to bear all. Okay, so we have kind of a dual meaning in this. In one way, the card was made with the intention of making certain that a person who drew it knew that it's okay to be authentic in this situation and to be who you truly are. Now, just about all of us can't help but to be who we are, right? But another thing is naked in a dream. It has a little bit different meaning, and that's like one thing that's kind of hidden about this relationship is just how vulnerable your person feels in the situation. You really have a lot of power to really hurt your person or to really lift up your person, and I think that because they are that vulnerable and that it's like they're really highly in tune with who you are and how you're feeling and what you're thinking and all of that kind of stuff. So when you're communicating anything negative to them, it feels like it's happening to them, okay? It's like they're enmeshed with you. And so they're feeling really, really vulnerable. And this is going to translate into the way that I was just describing with them really taking what's going on with you personally, right? But it's also going to translate to this person themselves might be they might hold back a little bit. They might be a little bit reluctant to come forward and talk about what they're feeling and what they're thinking and that kind of stuff. Not because they're timid or not because they aren't being themselves, but because it makes them feel really vulnerable when they come forward like that. And those of you who remember your dreams, those of you who have had this very common dream of being naked in a situation in your dreams, will probably understand exactly what I'm talking about, because it's this feeling of complete vulnerability, almost like you're maybe are stupid or you're weird, that kind of stuff. It's like this person basically feels awkward in this situation. That doesn't mean that they don't like it. That doesn't mean they want out of it. But it's like there's some awkward feelings here, and they want that. But they want to be in a situation. They just don't know how to express themselves still yet. And because of that, they're going to be a little awkward. Just reassure them by letting them know that, in the same way that they want you to be happy, that you want them to be happy too. And then we've got you are invited. Suit up, show up, and open up. I really feel like this particular situation that you're in, especially with the Hierophant and then the you are invited kind of sandwiching everything else, this feels very much like a soul call. It feels like you have gotten to this point and you're able to be in a situation where your person, it's like you can learn from your person, and you can be in this relationship where you guys can create and you guys can share joy with one another, and you guys can enjoy this life lesson, all of these lessons that you guys are teaching one another and all of that. And I just feel like, this, is a really good way of putting right in the middle here, right in the middle is this message, but in the ends, it's like, you've got this. This is part of your soul path. This is part of your path. Okay. So I do feel like this is an important situation for you to be in. Okay. This is a really great reading, guys. Looks like there's a lot of really positive information here and a lot that you can work with to help, you know, bring about this situation. And you know, that reading that's kind of popular is like, what are they hiding from me? I think that they don't want you to know just how vulnerable they feel. Not because they want to hide something from you, or that, I mean, not because they're being deceptive, but just because they're embarrassed, and that's it, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if you guys feel the same way, you know? Oops. If you guys feel the same way, because really, it feels like this is kind of like a thing that would be in a relationship. It's just know that it's more than what is normal. You know, it's a little bit overstated in this particular situation. Okay, so yeah, that's some really important information to know there. All right, hi pile 5. Those of you who picked the clear quartz crystal, here is your reading. Okay, so we're going to start with the tarot. We have the Queen of Air. This would be the equivalent of the Queen of Swords. We have the Ace of Air, or the equivalent of the Ace of Swords. And we have the Chariot. Wow, that's great. We also have Gaia's Garden, Adversity, Guide, and Stop and Take in the View. Okay, and I just want to say for these, you know, this is going to be very abstract. We're looking at the more subconscious areas of this relationship. So, you know, I'll get to explain each and every one of these cards, but I want to start with the tarot because it's always what I start with, and I think this is a really interesting thing here. Okay, regardless of whether or not you're female or male, okay, what's going on with your person is that there's this kind of duality of mind. Your person is probably very intelligent, very good at communicating, very good at sharing their ideas, and your person's probably pretty I would say ambitious. Maybe they might not describe themselves as ambitious, but comparatively to their peers, they're probably doing a little bit better. At least when it comes to mental ambitiousness. Like, for example, maybe your person's, you know, average when it comes to their peers, but they might read a lot, you know, or they might, I don't know, travel a lot, or they might do something a lot more often than other people do. There's something about your person that's really ambitious. Anyway, what's hidden here is that this person is extremely receptive to you right now, and they feel really strongly about you emotionally. There is that emotionality there, and they want to take care of you. They really want to make sure, and the way they express that is by trying to solve any problem that comes up with you, okay? They want to make sure that any problem you have can be solved, and they want to be the one to solve it, okay? And then we have the Ace of Air. This shows us it's something new. They're going to kind of find a new way of communicating to you. So something that's hidden here is that they have something to say to you that's new. And it's going to really clear up some things, okay, in your relationship. So that's really positive. And then another thing that's hidden to you is that you guys are actually moving forward. It might not feel like you are, but you are moving forward naturally. Okay, the Chariot, we've got a black horse and a white horse. This is a meeting of two dual situations. I really feel strongly, because we have the air energy here, that this is the meeting between air and water, or the meeting between the head and the heart here. But understand that it could also be, you know, air and earth, or air and fire. The whole purpose of this is to know that you know, when we talk about this kind of stuff, right, we've got you know, we've got two dual things, and your person seems to be represented by the head, okay? And so I feel that you guys are moving forward, and that your person also has emotions there too, okay? And that makes sense with the Queen being someone who does have that emotional receptivity and does want to nurture the relationship as well, and that's going to bring you guys forward, okay? We also have fruition, abundance, reaping what you sow, okay? So make sure that the energy that you're giving to this relationship is the kind of energy you want back from it, okay? I feel like I feel like the message is more about the abundance than it is necessarily about, you know, mind how you're reacting in this situation. But I do want to say, you know, when you get to a certain situation, you know, in a relationship, and you're expecting that person to somehow make you feel a certain way, and you're not trying to help that person feel that way too, you can sometimes fall short of what you want because you're not giving to the relationship what you want to get out. And that's all that that means, really. If you want them to help you feel more attractive, tell them how attractive they are. If you want them to help you feel more emotionally secure, tell them that you know, you admire the way that they are emotionally, or you know, or something like that. Let them know that they make you happy. Let them know that they're, you know, look at their good points and tell them that you admire that about them and all of that, and they'll be able to give you back, you know, what they're thinking on that situation. Okay. One thing that's blocking your situation a little bit here is adversity. I feel like this could be either internally or externally. So it could either be other people in your life or in your person's life that might be putting some pressure on this relationship. I don't feel like it's positive or negative. For some of you, it might be, I mean, it's just pressure. It's like, for some of you, it might be like, oh, when are you guys going to get married? And then for others, it's like, oh, when are you going to just let go of that relationship? And with others, it's other kind of pressures, you know? It's just, there's some kind of pressure on the relationship that's either coming from the external, like I just described, or it's coming from the internal, like, I should be at this point by now, but we're not, or I should do more, or I should do less, or I should not be so this or that, you know? Try to take away shoulds and shouldn'ts, and take away any pressure that you're putting on the situation to be a certain way, okay? Otherwise, there might be some just core beliefs or core areas where the two of you have come from culturally that are just so different that it can be difficult to meet on the same page. This is more of a challenge, though. This is a challenge, and you guys bring those two things to this relationship because of that. Just like the Chariot, you know, that helps you guys move forward. That helps you guys, that propels you guys to understand each other and the world better. Okay? So yeah, we have guide. Follow in the footsteps of greatness. If you want to know how to make this relationship work, look at how other people have made their relationships work. I feel like this particular relationship follows a kind of ingrained pattern that we have kind of a blueprint for in all of our stories and myths and our fairy tales and things like that. I feel like it's something like that. You are also being guided in general, okay, through either your higher self, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. There is guidance happening in this situation. And I think that that's something that's hidden here for you guys, that you guys are, you know, you guys are receiving some kind of guidance in how to help this work, okay? And then, and this is interesting because we've got the Chariot assuring us that this is moving forward. We also have stop and take in the view, okay? I feel like this is more for your personal energy in the situation, that you can slow down a little bit. It's okay. This isn't a situation that's so urgent that it's not going to happen. If you slow down a little bit, it feels like, and that might be what the pressure is too, but it just feels like, you know, you don't have to put as much energy into this as you are. Now, go ahead and do that if you want to, but this is just letting you know that you don't have to, that it's not required, that this relationship, you're being guided, the relationship is moving forward, you know, and all of that kind of stuff, and just enjoy it. You know, they really want you to enjoy the relationship for what it is and what it's moving into being, okay? Right, guys. Okay, hi, pile number 6. Those of you who picked the red Jasper, here is your reading. We have the Two of Fire. That would be the Two of, sorry, this would be the Two of Wands. our staves, the Ten of Water or the Ten of Cups, and the Ace of Earth or the Ace of Coins. Okay, we have the Web Weaver, Synchronicity, Divine Intelligence, Cause and Effect. We have Freedom, we have Fire, and we have Divine Discernment, okay? All right, so this is what's hidden from you, okay? One thing is that there's something that needs to move here in order for this relationship to happen. It's really interesting because the key word is move. It's like either there's a literal move that needs to happen. Maybe the two of you are have distance between the two of you, or maybe you guys need to move to, you know, move together more and become of the same mind, of the same heart, and that kind of thing in the situation. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, okay? It just means that's kind of something that needs to happen. And with it being a fire, an impulse, and the taking action thing, you know, I feel like this is going to happen. You know, I don't feel like this is, you know, up in the air. It's just that know that this shift needs to happen first, okay? This could also be a shift in perspective and beliefs, you know. This could be a shift from looking at something one way and then kind of shifting up and realizing, you know, that you can actually look at it from a completely different perspective, okay? The Ten of Water lets us know that you guys are going to have what you want in this relationship, okay? This promises emotional satisfaction and happiness. This promises emotional abundance. This lets you know that this is a kind of relationship that can go really, really long way if you stick with it, okay? With the Ace of Earth, I feel like something that's hidden here with you guys, you know, all of this is stuff that's not necessarily up on the surface. So some of these things, like this relationship could go really, really far. Maybe it doesn't feel that way right now, but it can. And this whole movement, some kind of movement needs to happen. It's like this is going to happen regardless because we know that you can go far in this situation. So we know that this is going to happen. All right. The Ace of Earth is talking about how this relationship needs a stronger foundation, okay? That's something that's hidden from you guys. You guys don't realize how important it is, or you're not as aware of how to make that foundation a little bit more strong. You can do this by asking them questions about their past. You can ask them questions about like some of their dreams and their desires for the future and that kind of stuff without attaching it to the relationship, okay? Talk about what they want to do in the material world. Not how they feel, not what they think about it, but just what do they want to do in the material world, okay? You know, this could be something like if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? If, you know, what sports did you play when you were a kid? You know, that kind of stuff, you know, just anything to help them kind of open up about that kind of stuff, all right? And then you'll start building that foundation, okay? So yeah, we've got a lot of help from the universe right now with you in this situation. That would be help from spirit, from your higher self, from God, whatever you want to call it. That force is helping you, okay? So we have, you know, you're going to be seeing a lot of synchronicities. You're going to see that there's a lot of, like, you're going to be able to anticipate what's going to happen next because of the way that you perceive cause and effect in this particular situation. It's like you know them. It's like you know them better than they know themselves. And it's weird because I feel like they don't realize how transparent they are sometimes. And that's the hidden aspect of this, is that they're not aware that you can see through them that easily, okay? One thing that's kind of blocking the two of you is freedom, okay? And I think that this comes up as a block when we're in a situation where we become really enmeshed with each other, okay? And we don't honor the fact that we're both individuals, okay? So when you're in this situation with your person, know that it's important for you guys to have your own individual things you do by yourselves, so that when you come together, that can be a thing and you'll have new things to bring to that situation. If you're in a situation right now with your person where you are feeling kind of needy maybe, or a little like anxious and all of that kind of stuff, find your own things to do so that you can have that to kind of get that nervous energy out. You can also have that to bring to the relationship, okay? So we've got fire. Take responsibility for your power. Okay, you have a lot of power over this person too. And I think that you know it. And I'm not just saying this because there's a deer on this. I'm saying it because when I'm feeling the energy around you kind of knowing this person better than they know themselves, I think that sometimes when you use that to talk to them, you know, where you're talking to them and you'd be like, oh, I know you, blah, 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 whatever. You know, it's like you catch them unaware and they're like a deer in the headlight. They're like that kind of, you know, we've got the fight and the flight response, and then we also have the freeze, you know, and it's like you catch them in that freeze phase that animals can get into where it's like they're caught and they don't know what to do, right? I feel like your power is you know, you just leave them speechless and stunned. Know that is something that you can really bring to this relationship. Show them how passionate you are. That's a positive for them. They like that. They want to see that passion. Okay? And then we do also have divine discernment. This lets me know that by, you know, really reflecting on the synchronicities that are happening and really reflecting on any kind of bit of divine guidance that you feel like you're getting, whether that's through meditation or through your dreams or some other means, it's important that you analyze that a little bit more than just recognizing it. Because I think that there's the message that's like, ooh, I want to get your attention, right? And then there's the real message. And that's something that you have to take a little bit more time to puzzle out. So I think that one thing you can do is start analyzing a little bit more the kind of divine guidance you're getting, because I really think that there's something more to it that you're not seeing, and that if you kind of step back and analyze a little bit more, then you'll be able to see more clearly what divine guidance, you know, what the universe basically is trying to tell you about this situation that's personal to you, okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying till the end of this reading, you guys. I really enjoyed doing this for you, and I will go back to viewer requests the next time I do a reading. Just want to tell you guys I really appreciate the feedback, the support, the likes and subscribes and all of that. It really helps me know that I'm doing a good job and that I'm reaching people and I'm helping people's lives be better. You know, that's because that's my whole objective here, is to make sure that I am using my gift to help other people, okay? So thank you guys so much for helping my channel grow. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys? Okay, I'll see you tomorrow with the mini reading.